Hello, everyone. Welcome to Monday Sucks. As you can see, I just jumped in here. It's Monday, and I'm going through a lot right now, but we're ready to get the show started. Of course, every Monday we can do this without the man, the myth, the legend, my man himself.
Yay!
Timmy! Timmy,
What's up,
I have
dude?
no idea what's going on, but
Bro,
hold on a
yeah,
minute.
yeah, 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 yeah.
We have two guests that are not here, so I want to make sure that they're here. Did you hear from Matt?
I haven't heard back from him. I called him. I texted him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me text Steve. Where's
I was just talking to Steve.
Yeah, I told him to use the link, but you know, Steve is older, so it would take a minute for him to get it. Hold on a minute.
Whew! What a Monday it is! I'll tell you.
No,
Wow.
my Monday have been crazy. Tony is everywhere. In two places at once. Let me see here. All right. It's Monday. We are here, and I don't know what Steve is doing, but this Monday is going to be special. We are going to be having more of an origin story Monday. This Monday is really going to be about hearing the story of the people in the community and really knowing what the origin of these people are. You see them online just like us. And I like to say online personality and real life personality are not the same thing. And today, that's why I don't have a hat on. And I just came back from running and I locked myself out. So I just ran into the building and I'm like, hey, it's Monday and I'm here and I'm ready to do it. So that's why you see this. That's
Sorry,
why.
I got you,
All
bro.
right, all right.
I
Rep
got you.
the
I
hat.
got you. I got you.
I don't know what Steve is doing, but I don't want to waste too much time. I want to be able to bring our guest in and start the conversation right away. Um, as we go, we will get other people to jump in. Everybody receive their link, so obviously we'll go ahead and do what we're doing, and we'll go from there. As of now, um, really, it's already been a long week, and we just started, so you can tell from where I stand that is it's been a long week, and I'm already. Oh, finally, look who decided to join us. Look who decided to join us. So, um, without further ado, let me bring in the first person. This person is pretty easy. Of course, Tim choose now to clean stuff,
I'm
to
sorry. I
do his
just realized
stuff.
I just realized I have no water. I'm so sorry. I looked over and there's no water. My apologies. I'm trying to fill it up right
This
now.
this
I'm
is why
so sorry.
we can't grow on YouTube. This is why we think we're back. We're still back on Instagram where
Yeah,
he can do whatever he wants, and
yeah,
now he
leave it.
can't do anything. The man
Jess,
is not even here to introduce our guest. He just disappeared. Black
I'm
screen.
sorry. I thought you were gonna talk for like 5 more.
All right. Till Tim come back and actually jump on the show with us, I will introduce our first guest. You guys know him as TB Whiskey on the gram, but I call him the man, the myth, the legend, Mister Mister Burke himself. What's up, Tony?
What's happening, brother? How you doing,
How's it
man?
going? How's it going, brother? It's Monday. It's
Man,
Monday.
everything's going
If
well.
you if you if you're not in to do it, I'm taking you out.
Hi,
Steve,
Tony.
What is
Tony,
happening? All right, so
eh,
ready? I'm just kick this off right now. So this is how
okay.
my Monday went. Started off great, then walked out to my car and just found somehow there's a bunch of construction, there's potholes and all types of shit around here. So I'm pretty sure one of them finally got to my tire because I looked over and it looked like someone took a right hook to it and a big knot. It was
Oh,
cut and it was leaking. So, but you know what? I was able to get home. Everything's all good. Cars in the shop getting fixed. So when you said that you were locked out of the house, I was like, man, this is
yeah.
Monday and
No, it's
all
fine.
around.
So what really is happening is that I've been under a lot of stress the last the last probably month and a half. I've been under a lot of stress. So obviously, when you're under a lot of stress, you end up actually, kind of honestly letting yourself go. And the one thing I didn't want to do is to let myself go because for a month and a half, I had a routine where I'm working out. I'm making sure that I'm balancing my eating and my, and my drinking. And then obviously you're stressed with work, you come home, you don't feel like going to the gym, you're not doing anything. So I'm like, this weekend, I'm like, you know what, boy, stop it. You just need to take care of yourself because that's also part of your mental health. And he took me
Mhm.
actually on Thursday to be recording my podcast that we are talking about May being mental health awareness month, where we really need to check on each other and make sure how we are doing. And while I was talking to my brother at that time on the podcast, I realized that I wasn't doing okay. I kind of let a thing go. So I'm like, you know what? Every day, no matter what, I'm gonna try to put in 30 minutes of exercise. Even if I'm very stressed, I'm still gonna make time for it. So that's why today I went running and I went running. I'm like, okay, 2.5 miles, 3 miles, I can do that in 35 minutes. I just got from work and I'm like, okay, I bolt and I come back and the door is closed. I'm like, reflex. I blocked the back of the door, didn't even worry about the thing. So anyway, that's why I'm like, you know what? Screw it. Let's start the show the way we start. And that's guys, if you're joining us, thank you for joining. We appreciate you being here. It's Monday, as you can see. All of us probably have a special Monday in the weird way possible. How was your Monday? Put it in the comment. We'll be sure to read it. Uh, I will tell you right now, we love and appreciate you coming on. Push the like button, share this with your friend, share it in your whiskey group, and let's make sure we have a good time. Now, we want to make sure we bring our man. Steve, are you finally gonna sit in front of the camera? This, I need to have a tutorial for everybody to make sure that we bring people on in front of the camera.
All right.
Steve, are you gonna
There he
sit in
is.
front of the camera finally?
How are we doing? No, you said to click on that link, and I was like, I got everything up downstairs set up, so I need to get it down here.
You,
How
you
y'all
need to
doing?
you need to get closer to your thing so we can hear you. You seem a little away from your
How about now?
much better.
Okay, we'll get in here like this then. We'll get real. Yeah.
So it's Monday. What are you guys drinking? What are you guys drinking right now?
I got a little barrel proof rye, 10-year-old redemption rye. This thing is fabulous.
Okay. Somebody's drinking 2016 batch 4 of
Yeah.
the Bookers.
I've got this. This is a mystery pour that Matt had actually sent me, and I specifically
Okay.
waited to crack it open tonight.
To crack it open.
Yeah,
You know what? You know what? This is uncommon of Matt. So I'm gonna try him one more time to see if I can get him on. I'm not sure. Matt also used an iPhone 7. That's what I found out the last time. And I told him, I said, Matt, if you still use an iPhone 7, chances are you cannot do most half of the technology thing that we are doing because I know you love and preserve your iPhone 7, but Lord forbid if you can actually, you can actually do the average thing. So let me see. Let me try him and see because I don't I it's not common of him, so I need to make sure that he is okay. Otherwise, I'll have to check on him after the show. Yeah, his iPhone 7 may have quit on him.
Yeah, it's definitely not like him. Like I haven't
No.
heard from him at all today, which is
Yeah.
not.
Since yesterday, actually. Usually I see him on.
I heard from him yesterday, but that was it.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, like around 12:30, I heard from him.
Okay. Yeah, he's I can't hear from him. So today it's gonna be the four amigos, and that's how we're debuting with. So, guys, what are you drinking? It's Monday. Before I introduce, I will have a bunch of questions for you guys, and I'll be making sure that people in the community, especially on Instagram, get to see you guys. I don't know what I'm drinking yet. I'm still looking at the stash here to figure out what I'm gonna drink. The problem here, I need to finish samples. Is anybody have that problem?
Dude, I got like 40 of them
Yeah.
here. I took like 2 months.
Guilty. Hold on. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 just on the table here.
Ah,
There's probably another 5 or 6 in the kitchen, and there's probably 100 close to over here in
You're
the
like,
in the
they're
stash.
behind the toilet paper rolls in the
Yeah.
bathroom just in case I'm in there for a little
oh
while.
my
and-
god!
Just in case, man, you gotta have some toilet whiskey.
I mean, it's like,
Absolutely, absolutely.
I got
You got
food
a
at
you got a
least.
shower pistol. You gotta have toilet whiskey.
Exactly.
You know,
Wait, all right. Sour beer, toilet whiskey. Check. Got it.
check. Like okay, I'm ready for the revolution.
Yeah.
I got shower pistol, toilet whiskey, and toilet paper. We good.
Yeah.
Yep, we good. Let's
When
roll.
you come out
Let's
and the
roll.
wife's like, "Were you drinking in there?" I'm like, "Well, yeah."
It's it's the toilet. Of course I am. Duh.
What else am I supposed to do in there?
Duh.
Most people read newspaper. Apparently, we whiskey people we drink.
I read the back of a whiskey bottle while I'm on the toilet, and I drink.
Oh my god, guys! This is Monday Sucks.
see where
Like I
this
say,
is
if you're
going.
joining us, this is what we do. We talk about things we do, weird things we do as whiskey drinkers. If you have a weird quirk that you do as a whiskey drinker, we'll love to hear it. I will let you guys introduce yourself one by one. I will start with Steve. Because his mic is a little off. Steve, I literally need to get are you on a phone or on your laptop?
iPad.
iPad, okay.
Yeah.
Get it. Okay. It's actually much better now. I can hear you much better now.
Well, I'm scooching in. I have the light hooked up, so
Bring it on the bar. Bring it on the bar so you'll actually be better.
I am sitting at, dude. I am at the bar.
Look behind him.
Yeah, he have a man cave, right? It's a man cave. Nice.
Dude, I literally had to clear off like 25 bottles just to sit here. Okay. So why are you putting it on the floor? I was like, I gotta have some place to lean into tonight.
Steve Nelson, introduce yourself to the people. Who are you? When did you start in whiskey?
Oh my
And
gosh, Jack.
what's your journey have been so far? Without showing us how old you are, we can tell from the beard.
I'll just say it started. I was thinking about this all week. When did it really start, Jack? Back when I was in high school, and I hate to say it, back in the day, and everybody's like, "Oh, Jack Daniel's Black." If you were drinking Jack Black, you were it. And my dad had a lot of it in his cupboard. And this was back in the 80s, dude. And it kind of started from there. Ended up joining the military in 84, stayed in for 23 years. But as a cop traveling around the world, cops, it's like this is part of your job description. When you're off, you're drinking. So when you're working 3 days on and get 6 days off, and we drank a lot. And it just seemed more so it really got more refined. I think when I got out and came back here to Nebraska, I was like, well, trying some sipping stuff, doing this, making my mixed drinks. But the turning point to where it started going to straight, it was when, like we talked about, because as you get older, you got to get your physicals. And the doctor's like, hey, you're pushing maximum density for your little short ass. You might want to start slimming down a little bit. Told her what I was doing, and she's like, cut out the soda pop. Cut out the soda pop when you're drinking. So it was nothing to go through a 2-liter of soda pop a night when you're mixing drinks.
That's true.
Stuff. And then so I was like, wow, this is tough because I didn't like drinking it straight. And so I was drinking the old Whiskey River, and then a few of my friends who were really like the Bookers and the Stags and the William LaRue Weller, the William LaRue from like 2016, I think it was. Mm-hmm. That was the point where I was like, wow, there's actually whiskey that is out here that you can drink straight that doesn't suck. And it didn't suck. And so they started showing me the Bookers and this and that. And all the time over at Hy-Vee, they had, like I'm drinking it tonight just for this, the Booker's Bluegill Creek. Always wanted to try it. I went and got it one day. It's been over with since then. So now it's just been more so and we talk about this a lot. How did we get here? Where did it start from? I think a lot of my palate comes from the cooking classes and cooking that we do, because when you're cooking, you got to pick off the different notes that you want to complement with the different foods. Goes the same with the whiskey. Do you want to pair a cigar with this? Do you want to pair food with this? Do you want to cook with this? What do you want to do? And it's not just a whiskey. You might be in the mood for rum tonight. You might be in the mood for tequila or something different, but how are you going to pair what you want to drink with what you're in the mood for that day, especially if you're drinking and if you're going to have a cigar? Because a lot of the times when I have cigars, I got to find that just right whiskey that cigar is not going to kill it and it's going to suck. And it's I think just going from that today, and then the thing that really kind of broke it out for me a lot was social media. And when I met you down at the Whiskey Fest, Jack, because I wasn't on none of these whiskey groups, not doing any of this stuff at all. And everybody's like, hey, join NBS, join this, join that. So I started taking pictures and doing posts and doing my thing and doing my reviews on stuff and just playing, I don't want to say playing the fair middle ground, but if it sucked, I'll tell you. Chattanooga Whiskey.
Oh my God!
They owe me
That,
some money,
name,
man.
that name is not allowed on the show. Till I get my $69.99 back.
That apricot, whatever they had, and I drank it, and it tasted like a wooden paint stick. I was a little pissed off. Still am to this day.
We'll get you whiskeys that actually take people off. Thank you so much, Steve. If you guys don't know Steve Nelson on Instagram, he is Whiskey River 66. Whiskey.
I'm not done. Give me like 2 more minutes.
I have plenty of questions for you. Don't worry, we'll get it out.
Hold on. So when we're doing our reviews and everything on the social media, and now with you, you got me in Instagram and taking pictures. I love doing this stuff, and it's just doing the reviews and just being fair about it and enjoying the whiskey and sitting down with friends. And like when I come to your house and we drink and we'll sit and just talk about life. And it's not just about the whiskey. It's like, yo, Jack, how's your week been? How's the family? What about this? What's going on? Hey, what do we got going? Have you heard about this? You want to try this? Pull out the bag. Jack, look what I found. It's like, well, let's open that first because it's going to kill it just from there. So that's how we got here. It wasn't about, you can always get drunk, but I like my whiskey and like my bourbons and enjoying just sitting down some nights and, like you said, sniffing that glass for 20 minutes before. Are you ever going to drink that, Jack? I'm having a moment. Mm-hmm. Let me be. Mm-hmm. And that's where we are today, just enjoying everything.
All right.
Okay, I'm done.
Still Nelson, everyone. If you haven't heard about this guy, you probably haven't been anywhere in the whiskey industry. That's the best way for me to put this for you. Tony have been around a long time. If you literally locate my whiskey on a certain website, he's the first person that come as a picture. I mean, he used to be a handsome devil at that time. This quarantine beard.
Used to be. Hold on.
This quarantine beard, I don't know where it came from. Speaking of beard, somebody's making fun of me. They're like, I'm trying to grow a beard. I say, I grow bushes. This is a challenge for the next year. I am determined, no matter what happened, to grow at least a set of beard before I go back to my normal look. But Tony, introduce yourself to the people.
Yeah, thanks, Jack. I mean, my name is Tony Burke, and I've been fortunate to be in hospitality for almost 20 years. Fun little whiskey story is, I attribute myself getting into this business and making a career out of it a lot to my grandfather. He used to have this full working wet bar in his basement, and I remember when I was young, I used to go down there and sip this, sip that, and thinking everything was just gross and what have you. And I just remember, funny enough, I remember actually cracking over. He had a handle of Dewar's, so I remember kind of like pouring a little bit of that, and kind of seeing where it went. I still thought it tasted terrible. Again, I was way too young to be drinking it. But fast forward to, I'd say probably 17, 18 years ago, right? Bartending and having the opportunity to work with some of the the best and the most talented professionals in hospitality from a bartending standpoint. I found myself really liking spirits in general, right? It was whiskey, it was rum, it was tequila, it was gin. But there was a couple of different things that happened to me in my life that were actually surrounded by whiskey that kind of set me back and said, hey, maybe there's actually a little bit something more to this. Maybe there is a little bit something more to this category. Like, where can we go? Where can we have fun? And I'll remember because it was my grandparents lived in Cleveland, and I had decided I was going to go there for a long weekend, and this is like 18 years ago. And my grandfather and I wound up actually sitting at one point. We were sitting out in their backyard, and he and my grandmother had this swing. They used to like go out there, just kind of kick it, what have you. And at the time, my grandfather, he didn't care. He'd handle a Jack Daniels, like whatever. And I remember us sitting on that swing with the handle, right there, and just going back and forth, sipping, him just telling me all these stories that not even just had to do with just whiskey, but just telling me about his life, like when he was younger. Like he used to be a numbers runner. Like he used to work in like the legit speakeasies when he was a kid, and it was all this stuff was really fascinating. And I just remember like it was that moment where, for me, it was something that clicked about whiskey. So I just jumped right into it. I started working at places that had very good whiskey collections. Then I started learning about the different varietals. Then I started learning about what the flavor profiles were. And from there, fast forward to working to a couple of whiskey bars right before I had a chance to join the brand that I'm with now, with Angel's Envy. And now I have an opportunity to really kind of, not only can make sure that I have fun, and the fun that I had, is relayed to everybody, but I have a vehicle to do it, and it's whiskey as a whole. So I'm really more so into beverages in general. I think the easiest question is always to ask me, like, what don't I like? Because while it might not be for me, I can always at least find or appreciate the beauty in it while someone else does. Right? But I can just say it's not my cup of tea, and that's cool. But when it comes to whiskey, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to find something I like about that whiskey. And there's a little one-offs here and there. And then the last couple of years with COVID, COVID happening, especially having a chance to connect with you all and connect with the right whiskey community. And really, I can't wait till I get an opportunity to kind of see you all in person, to see a bunch of the whiskey family in person, and really kind of like share these stories, in person over a glass, right? So it's one of those things that as I've gotten older, I've started to appreciate more and more, not only what just beverages in general can do, but like, of course, what whiskey can do. And for me now, it's always just been about what is the next thing? How can I challenge myself? How can I challenge my palate? And really, really taking it seriously, probably over the last 10 years. Because before that, especially years before, I was in my early 20s, just bartending, doing a bunch of bullshit, having a bunch of fun, not really appreciating it, but now, here we are. I've been very fortunate to make a good living out of it. And now I'm actually more excited about, having the platforms to like share these experiences, and create even more good times. So that was kind of a long-winded answer, but yeah, that's me kind of in a nutshell.
That I can't thank you enough. There's a lot more to you, but that is the short version. I call this one Class of 2020 Origin Stories because I feel like people do know us for what we post every day, like I said, but there is truly people in the whiskey industry that as you get to know them, some things does make sense to you. And this was all triggered. This was all triggered because last week Tim was saying, I used to be homeless. And you go, what? Like something like that come up and you go, what do you mean? Right? Let's keep in mind that, yes, the Fred Medic of the Word, Whiskey Tribe, and all those people have been doing it on YouTube before we actually got here. So homage to them for taking the lead and talking about whiskey prior to us coming on. But a lot of people and I would say the last, I would say, year and a half people that started, most of them, I would say, we all product of COVID. People love putting things here and there, but truly when some people got stuck at home, some people just had too much time on their hand and wanted to put their passion out there. And that's how Tim and I met. So if you don't really know Tim, tell them who you are, because you're both good, but never actually get a chance to talk about yourself. So who are you?
Yeah. So I'm the single barrel snob, Tim Van Riper, TVR. I have many aliases. I've probably rebranded my Instagram handle at least 4 times, trying to, first it was trying to fit into the mold of what Instagram was, and then trying to fit into the mold of what people wanted me to do, and then finally one day I was like, you know what? Fuck it. This is who I am. Here I am. I like good whiskey. I like to hang out. But yeah, like Jack said, we're everything you see in front of us is all a product of COVID. Like none of this would exist if it wasn't for COVID. And just scrolling through Instagram one night, looking at hashtags, and found Jack and was like, "Hey man, what's up?" So that's how Jack and I met. But I mean, how I got into this was I was actually a barber by trade. I did barbering for about 7 years. And my shop was a beer and a bourbon barbershop. You come, get a haircut, hang out, do the dude stuff, have a beer, have a bourbon, and bullshit, right? And so met Rebecca, and we were kind of like, are we going to stay here in California? This was in Southern California, by the way. Are we going to stay here in California, or are we going to go to Kentucky where she lived? And I said, you know what? Let's go to Kentucky. Fuck it. And I got here and I literally fell headfirst into whiskey. Like, it's just the best way to put it. I didn't learn about single barrels until I landed in Louisville. I was at Louisville International. Rebecca got me as a gift a flight of Pappy Van Winkle because she heard that that's the best whiskey, and she wanted to give me a cool gift. So sitting in the airport sipping through it, and I'm like more than halfway. I think I'm like on the last, either the 20 or the 23 year. And the waiter comes over and he's like, "What do you think?" And I'm like, "I don't get it, man." And he just laughs and he goes, "So what's your favorite single barrel?" And I said, "What?" And it's funny because to this day, shout out to this bartender wherever you are, he brought me a pour of Old Granddad Bonded and said, have fun finding your favorite single barrel. And like, honestly, Old Granddad Bonded's great whiskey, but I don't know why he was asking me about single barrels and then poured me Old Granddad bottle and bond, because that's kind of like the opposite way. But I mean, definitely, like, I remember leaving the airport and just being like, single barrel. And I just fell in love with single barrels, dude. Like, more than, I'd say probably like 90% of my collection is just random single barrels from wherever. Walking to a store, hey, you got a single barrel? Cool, I'm taking it with me. Let's go. and it's just evolved into that, man. It's just awesome flavors. It's fun to find, like how you guys were both talking about flavor profiles. It's fun to find like your base profile and then dive into 30 single barrels from that same base and see how they all change and evolve. Like, that's the fun part. That's like where the nerdy part of whiskey comes out in me. I'm like, ooh, where did this go? And where did this come from? And what tier is this from? Or what warehouse is this from? Or, yada, yada. You can go on for, you talk forever just about that alone. And it all has to do with, what your end goal is and what it ends up tasting like. So that's the real fun. I mean, and we could go back farther. Yes. Since Jack brought this up, I've actually been stressing about this all week. Hold on, let me take a drink because my mouth's getting dry. Because I was like, I hope I don't have to talk about, because I haven't really, something I never really touched on. But yeah,
we'll get back to it. If it's about story, we'll get back to it.
But I'll just say, I'll put it out there so we can come back to it, because I don't want to like hide it and like dodge it. We'll put it out there. I was homeless for a year and a half.
Okay,
a year and a half. I was homeless.
We'll get to that point, because
so there it is. It's out there. We'll talk about it later. We'll come back around the world.
Oh my gosh. I can't even go ahead. No.
So because this is Monday Sucks, obviously, you guys know me as Hood Tom, obviously, online. And that's why if you look at the front that I put for the show today, it's pretty much name tags. Like, hi, my name is, but you can call me. And the reason why I did that way is because truly I feel like most people know you really for what you look like online. And you can come online and put any type of perception. English is not my first language. I originally immigrated here at 19-year-old to go to school because my dad was tired of me and probably wanted his first son to become something better than he is. I landed here in Nebraska at 19, and really the only thing I knew was truly as far as drinking, since in Africa we drink pretty young. My grandmother and also my best friend mom used to make local beer that is made out of barley. So we had local beer, and really the only thing we have beside that is moonshine. So moonshine and local beer is what I know. So I have an affinity for malted barley, but single malts were popular back home, but were really for high end people, people that were doing well in life. What you drink and you sneak in and drink as a teenager was gin. Gin is very popular in Africa. A lot of people drink gin. They use it for ceremonial weddings. Knocking at the door, which is pretty much it's a way to become to asking a woman's hand. And so, if it's not local beer, it's usually gin because it's easy to just get access to those. Obviously, we influenced by French culture and European culture. So cognac and wine are something that were common at the table. I had my first glass of wine, I believe, when I was 7 years old. So for me, that's why when people ask me, like, "Oh, why didn't you become a sommelier?" I'm like, everybody that I know that was in the kitchen in West Africa from a French country dreamed to become a sommelier, but no one actually think about becoming a whiskey expert because whiskey was for the high end people. So fast forward to me, being a dad, going through being married, divorce, uh, finally getting a degree, setting up my business. Truly, I came into the spirit world just because of self esteem, if we were being very honest, because I didn't know a lot about the business world as a young immigrant. I didn't have a lot going on really in my life beside working hard. That's all I knew. I knew I could work hard. But I had a good mentor that introduced me to bourbon, introduced me to single malt. But I realized that a conversation on it started in a golf course. I slice really bad. I'm terrible at golfing. Never even denied it. But when you talk with business people, they enjoy their cigar and their single malt. I realized that's the easiest way to to start a conversation, to be competent on a golf course, and really marry with people that are at that high end caliber. Then I started just digging and self studying on single malt, and then because of my obsessive personality, I started buying different single malt and
Yeah.
just wanted to know more about it. So when I get on a golf course, I'll be the cool guy. That's really what it was. I just want to be the cool guy. I was terrible at golfing, but I knew at least what to talk about, single malts. And as we're talking about it, we are going to welcome the man himself, the Jeeper.
Sorry,
What's up,
There
man?
Here he
it is.
is.
Hey,
Yes.
What's up, Matt?
33 minutes late. That
Yeah,
is quite a record
33
for me.
minute place. I don't know what to do with you, man. But as I'm golfing, as I'm building this relationship, it became, hey, why don't you invite that guy with the accent that knows about Scotch? That's what it became. Is why don't you invite that guy that knows about Scotch? And then it became a subject of conversation. In most professional, young African professional, single malt is the way they have conversation. Single malt is how they welcome people in, and bourbon is not even something they talk about. Fast forward to me now actually being on my own business owner, my own boss, and having my own employees. Now I needed to find a hobby, and it was about I love traveling, I love food, and definitely I love spirits. But I would say only in the last 3 years I took exploring spirit as really a true hobby. I truly started taking my time to say, okay, what is tequila? Okay, what type of tequila? What is the high end of it? And then I'm like, okay, got that. What is gin? What is the high end of? For me, it was always about finding the creme de la creme, as they call it in French, the top of everything. That's really what my obsession was. It was never about the spirit itself in the process. It was really about what's the best out there. Because my conversation with anybody that is high end is like, oh, I know you own this, but do you have this? And then people were like, oh, how do you know about this? So that it was always a conversation started. Fast forward to COVID, I had too much alcohol, a lot of time, and really wanted to create a relationship around alcohol. I would say the seed was planted actually because of Steve. Steve met me at the Whiskey Fest about 2.5 years ago, and he gave me some Boona Havin. Steve said, I heard you the Scotch guy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm the Scotch guy. So everybody knows me as the Scotch guy because I've always talked about it, always did private party, bring it to the conversation. So I'm like, okay, if I have this friend and this friend and this friend that think that I'm that good, I wonder how many people out there are going to be. And really, when COVID started, since we're talking also about mental health, I really wanted an outlet. Honestly, that's all I needed. It's just an outlet. So this Monday Sucks originally started as Nightcap with Hood Sommelier. That's literally what it started. It was a night. I was alone here. Everybody was quarantined. I'm like, you know what? I just want to have a nightcap. I want to have a drink, and I just want to see who out there is also having a drink. I've never been shy of being in front of a camera, so let me go and have a drink. And guess what? Good things started happening out of it. That's literally all it started. But we'll come back for more into my life. But the man that was about 50 minutes late. I'm sorry, it was 30 minutes. 50 minutes late to join us. That's another person that you guys only see by the insignia of a car, but really don't know the man behind the handle. He is Bourbon Jeeper, but we call him Matt. Matt, welcome to the show. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. I'm sorry I was late. Work has crushed me from literally 6 a.m. this morning. It's been a rough day, but
it's been a Monday. It's Monday.
It sucked all the way around, and I'm gonna tell you, like, I just got off the phone with all my colleagues in Australia, so I was like, no, I've really got to go. I'm like literally 35 minutes late, so yeah, you get a glimpse of it's funny you say behind the scenes, right? So that literally is my day life. Is usually starts at 6, and most days will go through to about 1-2 o'clock in the morning because I'm across every time zone and I have staff all around the world. So unfortunately, it's the nature of the hospitality business that I'm in. Hotels don't sleep per se. So yeah, it's busy. Now COVID's coming to an end. It's a really interesting space to be in because what's happening is people travel more, right? They're coming back out, they're traveling, they're wanting to vacation. The challenge with that is that actually the area of the business I'm in has not kept up with investments. And that's what we do. We do a lot of investment business, reinvesting in infrastructure into the hospitality trade. And it's so far behind. So now everyone's, to all intents and purposes, they're shitting themselves because what's really happening is everyone's coming all at once. And a lot of these systems, they're not coping with that. And there's a great thing that happened during COVID, and it's quite a positive thing for guest experience going forward. These quarantine hotels, when you stick 300 people in a full hotel for 14 days, you find the stuff that's going to break. So there's some good case studies that came out of it. If there's any positives out of COVID for my industry, but I think one thing that you really have to look back and really see is that the industry I'm in got crushed. Very much like a lot of the restaurant businesses, the bar industry, the hotel world is all of that, plus all the people that work, clean, look after these properties. And it's been a tough arena. So that's what I do. And that's why I'm late.
Tell us about you. Tell us who is Matt, because he's probably the most mysterious person in the whiskey community. Tell us who you are.
Get here.
Yeah,
how did I get here? Oh my God!
We sent an accent there. Where's the accent from?
Yeah, so I'm originally
not from Alabama.
No, Alabama. Or Tampa. Or Tampa. We're not from Tampa today. But
Is it temper?
yeah,
Well, okay, brother. I'm an immigrant, but even I don't fuck up those words. Is Tampa? Is Alabama?
No,
Not temper or Alabama.
it's not
I'm
just
going to
him
explain
because one of
something
our
to you.
Jack, it's not just him because I got guys in Europe that I work with, and he's like, "Oh, you're in Nebraska,"
Mhm.
and I'm like, "You sound just
Yeah.
like Matt." I'm like, seriously? I'm like, no joke. It's not just him. It's that region.
No, look. There's a couple of things. Regional dialects really in the UK can really f you up, and then when you live around the world, as I've done, it gets worse. So, part of my family is from sort of the southern part of the country. So, to give you an idea of that accent, it's like I got a combine harvester, so it's very deep. Okay? Yeah, so everyone gets on the combine harvester and go down the pub. So it's a very deep southern dialect. Then the other half of my family is actually from the Midlands. So that's it goes up. It's Gryting Midlands in the Midlands. So it's a very high dialect. So I've got something that jockeys somewhere in the middle. But I spent most of my life in London. That's where I grew up and spent most of my time. How I got into this world of drinking this stuff, a little weird. I have all through sort of my youth, when I got to about 21, I had a day job, but it was kind of okay. I was in the technology field. One day I'll tell you the story about I had two paths to choose, and it really came down to left or right, which room I went into. No, I started up my bar business. I got into spirits that way. You know, I worked in clubs, pubs, bars, and you know, back in London in the day, that's not like it is today. I mean, these were really cutthroat, real sort of environments that you're going to learn real quick. And what's nice about that history for me is I picked up so many key skills that I didn't realize at the time, right, were going to be so important today, like in the stuff that I do just in my general life. So, I worked in bars and clubs for quite some years, and then I took the leap in my personal time, which wasn't my real job, to get into the bar business. And I was the biggest vodka drinker for most of my life. Huge on the vodka side and gin. And then kind of as I got older, I really got into sort of more of the whiskeys and bourbons. But in my youth, it was kind of funny. I started with whiskey, went to the vodkas and gins, and then came back over time. So yeah, that's a little bit about my sort of background per se. And then through work, I came to the US. Yeah.
Already.
Well, there you have it.
There
That's
you
like
have it.
the shortened version that doesn't take 6.5 hours.
Now that we've introduced ourselves, I believe that this is since everybody drinking something, and if you're here in the chat, tell us what you're drinking. How's your Monday going? We'll love to hear from it. I'm hoping you're drinking barrel proof, because I have questions. I have some serious questions.
Barrel proof. Oh yeah.
So with this Monday, you need to drink barrel proof. So I'll be randomly choosing people. We're going to go through a sequence of 5 questions.
Oh shit!
And everybody have 5 minutes to kind of give us the down and dirty right away. I don't need you to.
Yeah, I got
need you. Pull out your barrel proof because it's about to go down. So truly, first question is, because we told people our story right now and people know us for who we are. First question, straight to the point. Give us one time in your life that was your lowest you ever felt.
Fuck.
We're keeping it real today. We're 5 guys. No one is making fun of anybody if you shed a tear. Real men cry. That's what I heard. Real men cry. So we are going to go with the first question because I want to start hot and start going. So first question, we see all these tough guys. We all on Instagram. and we make everybody smile and put everybody, you know, in a good situation, and everybody think of us as this rock solid people. But obviously we have a story. We've been there, done it, got the t-shirt, and sometimes the scars to show it. So give us one moment of your life where you felt so low you thought that was the end at that time. I'm not gonna start with Steve because he's seen too much in the world. I'm gonna leave you right before me. I'll be the last one. Since since Maddie was late,
Oh yeah, yeah. I knew that. I knew this was. I knew where this was going. I really knew where this was going.
since Maddie was late, we are going to actually start with Matt. Give us one moment, one instance.
Mhm.
You got 5 minute maximum where you felt so low as a person. You know, today you're laughing, you here with us, everything is fine, but it's mental health
Yeah.
awareness month. And I want to check on everybody mental health because there's a reason why I have this sequence of question because we're gonna get eventually somewhere. So
man.
the first
All right.
question is give me one time in your life where you felt you're so low that you're like, you know what? I don't know if I'm gonna see tomorrow.
Yeah, it's fairly simple. I lost everything. I got into a business venture, and I fucked up. And I think one of the most important things you've got to realize is that at that time everything seems very bleak. I mean, literally, I barely had a pound, as it were, back then in the account. But I think the thing I take from that is, yeah, it was pretty bad at that time. I mean, the houses, my apartment at that time, or my flat, was on the line. My car was on the line. I had nothing. And I think back then you're like, oh shit, it's like, and it's really an oh shit, because it's like you've put something into, it was a business idea I had, and guess what? It didn't. Okay. But what you take out of it, and I learned over some time, is you're going to fuck up, and you've just got to take the hits.
If you don't mind me asking, is what I really want to get to is how did you feel at that moment? Now you're talking about it as somebody who already been through it, right? What I want to know is how did
the world
you
was
feel
ending
at that moment?
No, the world was ending because I thought a cool idea was to sell CDs, right? And
you,
seriously,
you're not showing your age at all.
no, exactly. So, yeah, well, at least I didn't say A track, I guess. But,
This new thing. It's the hit of town. It's called a compact.
yeah, no, it was funny. So, like, I'm like listening to this scheme, right? And I got really into it, and then realized it was a complete load of shit that I should. You're young, you make these mistakes, and no. To answer your question, how did I feel? I literally felt pretty suicidal at that point because I'd never been exposed to it. I grind out every day when I was doing my job, and I did this on the side, and I didn't get my business plan right. I didn't get my execution right. And I think the biggest thing for me was it's who do you turn to at that moment who's going to either tell you fucked up or give you that sort of pandering moment, everything's going to be fine. So honestly, I just was like, this is terrible. I drank pretty heavily for quite some time, and that's another byproduct that can be very bad in that situation because you're literally going to the one thing that which is, hey, I know about drink, let's go drink. And that has a lot of a lot of consequences too. So yeah, there was consequences out of it and actions, but yeah, I probably felt the worst I've ever felt. And have I fucked up since then? Oh, absolutely. But
that was your first time really
facing there was real
defeat.
Oh yeah, there was real money on the line, but there was also pride. You put yourself out there and you thought you were the biggest shit in the planet with what you were doing, right? And apparently the people that you thought you were selling to did not agree. So you have to take that personal knock, right? Which is, you're not as good as you think you are. So take a step back and figure it out. And that moment of realization when you're pretty young, out of college is really hard, because you're like, you all been there, right? When you're younger, you're like, I fucking know everything, right? I'm going for it. You do. You go out there and you're like, I absolutely know everything. No one can tell me that this is wrong. And then you realize really quickly that you know absolutely fuck all. And you got to go find some people that effectively are going to turn around and give you that sort of truth serum, which was really hard to take. Dude, it's hard to take. And, and sometimes even today, that's hard to take as well. So, but yeah, it was bad, drinking heavily, and some pretty sleepless nights, but turned it around. So, yeah.
All right. We are going to get to my man, Tony. Tony, give me one time, story time. You got 5 minutes. That time in your life where you felt so low that you're like, you know what? I don't know. I don't know if tomorrow is for me.
So it's actually, I think Matt hit the nail on the head with something. I was going through a transitional period in my life. I thought I was ready to make certain moves, professionally, and it all fell through. It all fell through, and it smacked me on my ass hard. And this was at a point I'll never forget this. I remember I was so down and trying to figure out what my next move was going to be. I remember checking my bank statement, and it was like less than $200 in my bank statement. And I was at a point in my life, I was like, this on top of, what was happening with my career and what didn't happen, was something that it hit me so hard that I did not even know if I wanted to do anything, honestly. The next day, I was like, I don't care. I don't care what I do now. I don't care. And it started a pretty intense spiral. But there was a lot of heavy drinking, a lot of weight gain, a lot of just things that I knew just weren't healthy for me. And there were just times where there were definitely times where I actually thought to myself, I was like, what if I just hopped in the car and just kept driving? I was like, who would really miss me? I was like, who cares? I think I'd be better off figuring it out on my own. And that way, the ones who were around me, who I loved, didn't have to see me suffer, because I knew that they cared so much for me that they would just suffer as well. And I was like, why not just keep going? And it definitely, it's interesting because it's when you hit moments like that, right? And you manage to find a way to kind of pull yourself out. You kind of, whether it doesn't matter like what your religious beliefs are, like whatever they are, there's always like this. There's something that clicks, and there's something that tells you, don't do it. Don't do it. There's something that you can. There's a reason you're going through it. And yeah. I'll never forget having those feelings. I just hop in the car and go. Just keep going.
Thank you, brother. Thanks for sharing. We have the most sensitive brother in the group right now, which is Tim. So we're gonna give him some time to breathe. We're gonna get down to Steve. Steve, you've been around the world. You've done it, been there. Give me this one time in your life where you have good stories. You and I have had a few of them around some cast strength scotch. Give me that one time where you're like, you know what? I don't know. I really don't know.
That one time where I was just like, fuck it. And like Tony said, I just packed my shit and left. I went to Hawaii. And everybody's like, oh, that's a rough place to go. Well, I figured in Hawaii, nobody would know where the hell I was at. So, and I just left for like 2 or 3 years and just I had to turn my back on pretty much everything. And, I got a towel for this one. Because like we said before, I was in the military for 23 years. Within that time frame, I got my sniper certification. Well, let's just say when we were in Baghdad, we used that a lot. And
God damn it.
sorry, dude. There was a time I couldn't tell what was real and what was my dreams.
Mm.
And
Wow.
I mean, for the roughest time. And I told my wife, I was like, I got issues because I'd wake up, I'd have horrible dreams, and I couldn't tell if it was real or not because of the shit we did in the desert.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, I think the cops are coming for me today.
Mm.
And so we went through a lot of therapy. And then finally I just said, fuck it. I'm turning my back on everything military. And I just left, dude.
Mm.
Wow.
Sorry, dude, but that was it.
Whoa, yeah.
Sorry.
Brother, thank you for being vulnerable. Most of the time, like I said, the reason why we having this conversation today is we see people, but we really don't see them, right?
God damn
We
it.
see people, but we really don't see them. We all are the sum of our story, and honestly, I keep the people I'm lucky enough to call my friends. I always tell them that I am part of your story, right? This is not friendship. I am part of your story, and we are building the rest of your story together. That's really where I stand as a man. I don't make a lot of friends. I have family. I have a lot of acquaintances, but I have family. To those people, I can pick up the phone, and Tony knows. You know, I told him I said we not friend, we family. So when I pick up the phone, I'm calling you. This is not gonna be, oh Tony, what work? Is how's the family? How you doing? What's happening? I don't want to know what the hell is happening on Instagram. I already saw that. Tell me about you because that's what I care about. If I'm coming to Virginia, it is between am I staying at your house or what's your wife cooking? That's all I'm asking. It's never about, oh, are you not going to see me, or are we not? No, you already gave up on that one. You already, the day you decide to be my friend, that day we family, and that's how I see it.
But Jack, I think there's something really important that came out of what Steve just shared with us and was very vulnerable about. I think we've got to acknowledge that there's a lot of people who are veterans who still today are in the position that Steve has been able to talk about, deal with, and address. Yeah. And I think this is the whole point of why we're having part of this discussion is, you know, we're all males here, and it's okay to have this discussion. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate Steve for bringing quite a vulnerable, very delicate situation for him to the table, because, you know, I think it's okay to reach out to people and have this discussion. And, you know, I think we should have the discussion, and I think we should always make sure that people have the right tools that they need and the right help. Because if there's and I've always said this, and I think anybody else on this live is, I don't care what background, who you are, where you've come from. If you're in need of help, reach out, because there's enough people around that we can get you to the place that you need to be.
Yes.
Do not. I'm going to tell you something that happened about 2 weeks ago. And I got a phone call, and it's someone in this community. And the phone call started with, "I'm not sure I'll be here tomorrow." Those are the words you never, ever fucking want to hear on the start of a call.
Exactly.
Okay. So if anything out of this tonight for me is, I want people to suffer in silence. If you've got something going on, I don't care how trivial it is, because to you, it may seem trivial, but it's not. It's important. So, Steve, I really appreciate you a lot, because that is not an easy thing to deal with.
Absolutely. Oh, no, because like we tried watching you always think you're over it, but we tried watching American Sniper a couple weeks ago, and about a third of the way into the movie, I'm like, okay, we're done. And I threw the movie in the garbage. She's like, seriously? I'm like, yeah. It's like, I'm good.
Yeah. and Steve, obviously you and every veteran out there, you guys have seen a lot of things that we can only dream of. You know, we can only imagine. And to all of you out there, if you're a veteran, if you're in the whiskey community, if we know you, like Matt just said, and I'm sure Tony will agree with me and Tim as well. Reach out, reach out. There's
Absolutely.
I'll
Exactly.
tell you right now, there's nothing wrong with reaching out because here you're safe. That's the best way I can put it.
What just helps because there's other people who might have went through that like I did. And
Mhm.
I had friends from the military like, dude, how did you get through this? And I'm like, hey, let's sit down and talk. And it's just when you've got somebody else that can at least I hate to say lead you through it and kind of put you in the right direction. I mean, it helps, dude. I mean, we're all supposed to be men and all, but dude, everybody's got their freaking breaking point, and you got to have like when Jack, you're like, hey, I'm having a rough week, dude. Just making sure you're okay. Men are here to make sure that, and it goes for the girls too, because it's not just us, but
Nope.
we're here to make sure we're doing it. We're adults. We're not just. They think that you're out by yourself. We're not.
When I grew up, this is a dead true story in my youth. Like when you were a young man in the UK, a lot of the time from your adults and the people around you, it was not okay to be emotional and cry. It was not a thing that you did. It was almost a total verbatim. You're going to have this front, and you're not going to share that emotion. Okay, fuck that. It's okay to cry. It is okay to have that emotional moment, and it's absolutely fine. There's nothing that puts you, whether you're male or female, into a box that says you're not capable of functioning. It is totally okay. And anybody that says to you it's not, fuck them.
Yeah,
Seriously.
it's more
Yeah.
okay. When
This is Monday sucks.
Yeah.
If you don't think men can have also be vulnerable, I'm sorry. Fuck that.
Yeah.
Tim, we give you enough time to actually breathe.
Yeah, you should have a good one by now.
Timmy, you should have a good one by now, brother. We give you enough time to breathe.
Can I just real quick, Tim, before you go?
No, go ahead, Tony.
Before you, we talk about social media. We talk about like, the effects it has, right? It's a big facade because you can control the narrative, right? So you see all these personalities on social media, and I think part of what's damaging people's psyche is that they compare themselves to what they're seeing on social media, and that's not reality. Like you said, like we can project all the good times all we want, and then people get that FOMO. But then we're having discussions like this, and then like you get to know people, and you're like, damn, like that person is human. I'm like, of course the fuck they are. Like the social media, this whole social media thing, I control what I want you to see. I'm not going to put my business out there unless we have an opportunity to
You're
talk.
not going to see me cry in the shower on my social media.
But here's something that I saw the other day, and it actually kind of rocked me to my core, because you were talking about mental health, right? And part of the mental health, part of your overall well-being is like a good diet, right? But then this person said they were like, your diet's not just what you eat. Your diet is also who you choose to associate with, your environment, what you choose to eat. It's really
Right
all
there.
encompassing, and that right there is your diet. That is your diet that helps you to choose how you're going to be as a person, whether you want to continue to change for the better or whether you need help, somebody to pull you out in one of those areas. And it's that the term diet, like, it is all encompassing, and I think
it's all you consume, all of it.
Yeah.
it is. It has to be. But the biggest thing is I want folks who are watching this or ever have a chance to, I get to talk to in person, like don't fall victim to what you just see on social media, because a lot of times, like we've all just said, like there are people they're hurting. There are people who are very private, and they only put out the good stuff because people want to get that positive reinforcement. Like they want to get those comments, those likes. And for some people, that's like their day. You know what I mean? They look at that and like all of a sudden they see the like ticker going up, and that's their day. But that also goes to show you, like, that's how much they just need validation. That validation can be as simple as a phone call, a text. How you doing? How are things going?
Tony, I think there's a reverse of this too that we have to be aware of, is that social media can be weaponized. And when it's
Absolutely.
weaponized, that can affect people extremely negatively. And, we've got to be very careful about understanding that content too, because when you weaponize a social media platform, you don't know how you're affecting someone because you're not in front of them. They're hidden from the world, and I'm going to give you kind of some realism behind this. During COVID, I had a conversation with a friend of mine who said, "You know what? You've got an understanding of whiskey and bourbon. Why don't you get on social media?" That was a big thing for me personally. I really Tim and Jack know this only from the fact that I had a conversation with them, and they said, "Give it a go," because I'm one of the most private people you'll probably ever meet, and this is quite a big deal for me to actually be here and be present. I'm not one for really being sort of in the social media realm, but honestly, when you're cut off in COVID from what you could normally do, it was a good outlet. But I think there has to be roles and responsibility, because you got to understand, I've come from a past where I really didn't have social media. I actually physically had to ask them how the hell to use Instagram lives and everything like that. I'm not even joking.
I had to do that with Jack.
Like ask someone how to use these tools. So, what a lot of us consider as, oh, well, we're just on Instagram and we're just typing away and we're posting stuff. It's not the same experience for everybody. This was a big deal for me personally to actually bridge that gap. And I'm still learning how to deal with that. And you'll never stop.
It's okay, man, because it's okay, because truly it is a learning process.
Yeah.
Right. We obviously, the average of our age here is still in the millennial side, they're calling us, right?
Maybe.
Because the average of ours will be in the upper 30s. So if the average of our age here is still the upper 30s, that mean we are not Gen Z, right? We are not, like, my daughter talks about things and expression and things, and she's only 14. And I just sit there, I'm like, okay, what TikTok is popping? Tell me so I can actually do it. Like, I look cool, but really, I know that if it was up to me, I will have a whole fucking party here, invite all of you guys and sit around and have that. It will be more fulfilling for me to just go and like every one of your status, or somebody send me a message, or you follow me and unfollow me, or you didn't like my post and whatnot. And I sat there and I'm like, brother, I don't know. So people have their own view of things, and truly, like you say, it could be weaponized, because honestly, as a person, you never know. Perception is a big deal, right? Social media is always about, I'm the most positive one out there, I'm the better one out there, or I want you to know more about me out there, or whatnot. And it's been very trivial to a lot of people, where it's almost minimal anymore.
Well, it's like expected.
Yes, is expected out of you. So somewhere it hurts. It hurts, and it's good. But without social media, obviously, none of us here on this call will have actually, beside me and Steve, will have actually truly connected on a lot of level. But so far, we still letting Tim off the hook. Tim, tell us what's going on. Tim, I've been using all these things, all this time, and we're about 10 minutes in. Tim, we give you time to breathe.
Yeah,
give us one moment, brother. You got it, brother. You got it.
So first of all, thanks to all the ramblings and the stories allowing me to collect myself, because I'm probably going to fall apart again. But it's going to go to what I was talking about earlier, when I was homeless for a year and a half, and I remember, man, I think it was probably like 2 or 3 months into being homeless, and I had, mind you, I had a job the whole time I was homeless. Probably one of the few things, but whatever. That's neither here or there. But I remember leaving my job, and I was walking out, And one of the dudes that I worked with, he's like, "Hey man, do you need a ride home?" And I remember just like panic setting over me. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll drive you somewhere." I was like, "Sure, man." And I had him drive. I worked in this town called Riverside, and I had him drive me to this next town over called Norco. I figured nobody would see me or know me over there. And I'm having him turn every which way. And he's like, "Are you all right, man? Like, where do we get out?" And I was like, finally just like, "Yeah, right here." And I remember getting out of that car and just like not knowing where I was going to go next, or where I was going to do, or where I was going to sleep. And just, I was like, this is it. This is the fucking end. This is, it can't get any worse than this right here. And it's, I mean, obviously it is, here we are. Right. But I mean, being in it, it sucks, man. It's the reason that I am the way I am today, the reason that I'm so fucking extra and so loud and obnoxious is because I had fucking nothing. I had nothing. I was sleeping in a fucking gutter trying to figure out how I was going to get to work the next night. Like, I had fucking nothing, man. So yeah, I'm this way for a reason. It's not to show off. It's because I had nothing. And I want anyone and everyone to be a part of it, and I want to bring anyone and everyone into it, and we can all enjoy that together, because I know what it feels like to not have a goddamn thing. It's not easy at all.
Nope. Oh, brother. Thank you for sharing.
Fuck.
Thanks for sharing.
Tim, can I ask you something? Because I think something resonates with me a little bit. So you break a stigma of homelessness, and I think a lot of people misunderstand what actually homelessness is. They have this one idea of what a homeless person is, and I think if anything, you can help educate people to what that really means, because everyone's got a different scenario, whether you're entering or exiting. And I don't think you can. One of the things that I really would hope comes out of this whole session, and maybe it's something that goes forward here, is that whether it's trafficking, homelessness, whatever the situation, you've got to not have a one-dimensional view of it. And I had this exact discussion the other night about trafficking, and you can't just say that's trafficking as an example, and you can't say that's homelessness, because you have the person's situation in context, right? It's the context of the situation. So I appreciate you sharing that, because in the past I had a perception of homelessness, and I think when you and I first talked, you educated me on how that is not actually the case, because you had a job and you were trying to figure your way out of that scenario. Mm-hmm. So sorry to ramble on a little bit there, but I really think these are the important things that have to be said. So,
oh, guys, now I guess it's my turn.
Labor section soon.
Since you had 5 questions, right?
I'm talking, only one, and we only 13 minutes. We still have 47 minutes to go. Okay. Honestly, just to be honest, let me see. Like I said, I came here at 19. And coming here at 19 is kind of hard as a young man to really figure out where I stand. You also have to understand that I come from a house where my dad was really strict as a man, right? I came in this country with $2,800, and school was the first semester, the first 2 semesters that I need to pay for was $2,000. So I had $800 to my name. And mind you, I never seen snow, and I didn't have a car. And the the craziest thing was, my dad being my dad. When I passed my first 6 months here, just working and trying to make it so well in school. You're a proud son of a first one of an immigrant coming into this country. You really want to do it the best way possible. And honestly, it's it's just one of those things where I just told myself, me and my dad really had a rough relationship growing up. Two men, and I just grew up with him. Never grew up with my mom. We butt head when I was turning a teenager. I ran out of my house a few times. So I'm a runaway boy. He always called me that. Like, you're a runaway kid. You always run out. But when I came here, the one moment that I remember that was very, very tough, where I didn't know physically and mentally if I was going to make it the next day, was I found my first job away from where everybody was working. And the goal was, the way it works is, as conglomerate of immigrant student, you have the one person that had parents that were doing better, that have a car. You all pay him. He gives you a ride to work, so you can only find jobs where other people work, so you can get a ride back and a ride in. But I'd really talked to two of these people that say, "Oh no, we'll help you out. Just since you weren't finding a job at the place where we work in, find it somewhere." So I work for this staffing agency, and they sent me to the hospital where I wash dishes, and I wash dishes for 5 hours, and I come back. And that day, uh, I remember it was, yeah, the ninth month where I paid my rent, and I was waiting for my first check, and I didn't know what an overdraft was, and things were taken out of my account. And that morning before I left, I get this letter that said, long letter, that's back in 2004, long letter, your account is negative this much amount. You need to make sure you get your due in time. I'm freaking out. So I'm sitting there, and I call my dad, and he goes, "You'll figure it out. You got siblings. I'm not going to send you money to
Right.
take care of whatever that you figure it out. I lived in Europe before. You have to figure it out." So I'm there just freaking out as a person, cursing my dad in every way possible in my head. And I'm like, okay, I get it a right, the same right we go to work. And that day, this was just at the beginning of, right at the beginning of the winter. So I had a jacket on in Nebraska in the morning. It was quite sunny, all 60. And then at night, it starts sleeting. So I didn't even know that it was, weather changed that fast, because that's my first year in America. What the fuck do
Right.
I know? So of course I get out, and I call everyone that I had in my phone, my awesome flip phone. It was an LG, and 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 and
I still have mine.
and no one, no one, and I'm telling you, no one could come and get me. So I went to work at 3. It was 9 o'clock. It was almost 10, and no one was coming. It was in Omaha, and I live in Bellevue. So we're talking about probably about a 40-minute, 35-minute drive. And I'm like, I'm not gonna sleep at this place. And I just started walking, and I'm walking, and I'm walking, and I keep walking, and I'm freezing, and it's slitting, and I'm freezing, and it keeps slitting, and by the time my hands are like completely frozen down, and in my head I'm like, why the fuck did anybody send me here? Why I have no money? I used my night credit to call everyone, and I just couldn't. A lot of things happened to me through my life. But every time something happened to me in America, my brain comes back to this specific moment where it was 11:30 at night. I was on Highway 370 here in Nebraska, and no one will stop. No one will stop for me. It's slitting, half snowing. I bust my ass 3 times because it was slitting, so I fell. And It was 3.5, 4 hours later. It was 1 o'clock in the morning that I got in my apartment, and I was shivering so much that I stayed in the I opened the water and stayed in. I passed out. So my roommate was the one who came in and pulled me out and took me to the ER because I was so cold and trying to get into the tub to get me warm. I didn't wait to actually, you know, like kind of get my heat back. I went into shock, and I was like, I'm black, but I was purple everywhere. And he literally, when I woke up in the ER, he said, "I thought you died. I really thought you were dead." But I will tell you, during that whole time, all I kept thinking in my head, even when I passed out, the only thing I could remember is that if God had a plan for my life,
Mhm.
if I didn't die at this moment in time, there must be something else waiting for me. That was just that. According to him,
Yeah.
he saw the door open, so I didn't even close the door behind me, and he just saw me butt naked, laying down in the tub, not responsive at all. So it was one of those moments where I promised myself, if going through that day, no money, my dad telling me to fuck off, and not finding anybody to do it, and I was literally 20. I was literally 19 going 20. I told myself when we were coming back home from that day, whatever is going to take, whatever it will ever take for me to speak English really well, to find myself a good job, and never depend on anybody, I have to start doing it right now
Yeah.
because I never want to actually die again and wake up again. So that's one of those moments in my life where I felt this small, this tiny. I didn't know where the fuck my life was gonna go at that time. So anyway, the reason why I asked that question first is because I really wanted to get the emotional stuff, the real emotional stuff that we hold in, out of the way. The reason why is because it is shown that most people are quick to tell you the lessons of life, but never to tell you the moments
Yeah.
that they've been through. Bringing you back into those moments really help give you perspective to the future. So
Yeah.
my next question that
Jack,
is coming, go
before
ahead.
you get to the next question, because you all made me think a little bit. You know, I think one of the reasons that I'm going to be very kind of transparent on this, I moved here because of toxicity. That's why I left the UK. I was tired of toxicity. Most of my life I was bullied, and when you're a younger person, you don't deal with that so well. Like when I grew up, there was no counseling for that. There was no support systems for that. And you look back and you think, well, that was the stupidest thing on the planet because, like, what was that all about? But when you're younger, you don't have that sense of why someone would perceive you in that way. And you know what? I'll be very honest that haunted me for a long, long period of time. And actually, it chose some paths for me that through my career and what I've been doing in my past. And I've not always been in hospitality. And it was really, to do something about that and really understand why these things take place. But you talked about your dad, and it's very interesting you bring that up because, you know, I come from a scenario where, my dad grafted to try and provide everything he possibly could for the family. When I mean grafted, the guy was running maybe 3 hours sleep a night. And that comes with some challenges, right? All the way around. Personal life, work life, the ability to function. And that has an effect on family too. And, it comes to a point for me when I saw an opportunity to maybe do something different in life. I grabbed it. Because the one thing for me was, you know, I've been picked and poked all my life, and I got an opportunity, right? And I decided to take that opportunity and run with it. Has it had its ups and downs? The fuck yes, it has. But I took that opportunity because partly I wanted to prove two things. One, to the fucking hell bullies who were telling me that I was a piece of shit, that actually I could be something in life. And I'm not special by any means. I do what I can. As I said to you all before, I give you the last dollar I had in my bank account and the shirt off my back. But it was really to do that. And then it was also to prove that I could actually function the way that perception said I could function. And the real reality of that is that's total horseshit. And anybody that's feeding you the ability that you should be perfect in any way, again, can go fuck themselves because it doesn't exist. You be you, and you're going to have those bumps. And if you don't have people around you that support you, respect you, and that's the biggest one, that respect you and really give you that encouragement to be who you want to be, you have the wrong people in your circle.
Facts.
I'm sorry to belabor that point a little bit, but you just all made me think a little bit. And those are the things that really they haunt you. And it is tough.
That do bring me to the next question.
All right.
Is if the next question is, now that we've talked about a moment of your life that you felt like you don't know where you're going, right? What is that one thing in your life that is giving you or give you hope to look forward to the future? Right? What is that one thing or that one person in your life that gave you hope or still giving you hope for the future? Even though Steve put his hand up, I'm gonna start with Tony. I have a feeling Tony got some pasta moment to give.
God damn it!
I already went through. I got to Matt already, so Tony will be next.
All right. Let me. So, simply put, it's my son.
Okay.
A lot of people actually don't know this. Every now and then I might put something on social media or whatever, but I'm a very, very happy and proud husband and dad. And every time I see my family, I see my wife and I see my son, it's like, even on my darkest days, right? And I think kind of going back to what we talked about before, we all share those experiences. I think something that I took from listening to all of you is that here we are. We can all agree we're in better places or continue to work to get to a better place because we weren't afraid to talk about it. And ever since my wife and I started a family, it's like, man, it could be, what I would perceive as the shittiest moment that night, right? Like it's whatever, shit happens, goes downhill. And, I see my son and I'm like, that's my reason.
Dude, that's my dude, right?
Yeah, so all right. So, and the reason why it's so impactful for me is because almost nobody knows this. So since we're dropping truth bombs here, my mom and my dad divorced when I was 7 or 8 years old, and the way that I actually found out was I found the divorce papers in one of the shelves of my mom's bed. So my mother and my father actually never lived together, even when I was born. I'm originally from Cleveland. He lived on the west side. We lived with my grandparents, and so I had to find out that way. So what that did is that helped to actually shape a philosophy a mentality that I had, which was if I ever got to a point in my life where I was going to start a family, I was like, these are the things I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
Like, like this is not going to be. It was almost like, here's a checklist of the men you don't want to become. And as long as it's not on here, then you're doing okay. You know what I mean? And then my wife and I started a family, and my son, my wife are like, they are the reason why. Like, I know, no matter what, I got this. They're my support system. My son, whether he knows it or not. Although these days, he's almost 8. He knows what daddy does. So he's very supportive. But that's how I know. That's how I know now, especially sharing like what those dark moments are. I'm like, you know what, the sky could try to drop an asteroid on my head tomorrow morning, and it's still gonna miss me. Like, I got this. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's definitely my family.
That is something. I have a feeling brother Steve is about to come in with the same hot fire, because I know what gets Steve going.
What he said, but just put Izzy's name in there.
Yeah.
Okay, you're up next, Matt. No.
just to resume it, Steve weirded me out the first time we were talking family, because he's like, "Hey, Big Papa," right? Literally rubbing his beard, dude. Right? He comes to me, he goes, "Hey, Big Papa always take care of his family." I'm like, "Who the fuck is Big Papa?" And he's like, "Oh, he's like, that's what my daughter calls me, Big Papa." Dude. And I'm like, I never even thought about it. And I'm like, he have a nickname with his daughter, right? And obviously, Steve, your daughter is quite young, and is like, I'm like, why? You think about it, you go, okay, you already done, what you had to do. You have this beautiful wife of yours.
Well, there's a reason.
You didn't, you didn't have to actually go through you live this whole full life. Why not? And I see him with his daughter. I'm like, yep, he needs that. That is needed in his life.
Because of the military, I started late.
Yeah.
I'm glad I started late, because I'm mature enough now to be a man, to be a dad, to be a good husband, to not run away from it, not beat my kid, not be an ass to the whole family because I don't like the way things are going. Mm-hmm. I love my wife. I love my daughter, my dog. You've been around the family. And by the way, Izzy's like, "What's up, Jack?"
What's up?
All the time. But it's like, Izzy's it. I've taken so much from this world, and I got back her. So now it's just like, "Hey, Steve, why did you put in 67 hours a couple weeks ago?" Because I need to maintain what I got to do. That's what dads do. I need to make sure my daughter's growing up nice. A lot of what you guys are saying, I fall into that same milieu. Me and my pops, when my dad passed on, I think I was the only one at the funeral not crying. And it's bad to say, but it's like, him and I never got along, period. So as I'm growing up, I'm like, okay, like you're saying, Tony, I'm not going to do this with my daughter. I'm not doing this. Yeah. When I left the house, my dad's like, "Here's some luggage. Send me a postcard when you get there." Yeah, it's not going to be that way with Izzy. We're just, I just want to make sure I'm a dad, and just doing the dad thing. "Dad, what are you doing tonight? Do you want to do some Mario go-kart racing?" "Oh, I'd love to get whipped by you again any day of the week." "Do you want to go fishing? But you get your whiskey thing." "I'm canceling all that. Let's go fishing." Let's just where I'm at now and from where I came from is just, it's Izzy. She needs to have that, as y'all said, that positive male figure, and it doesn't need to be just a girl. I mean, the family needs that. They need that. And I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that guy's like, "I'm sorry, honey, you don't get no socks and underwear because there's a new barrel pick down here at Spirit World." Something. It's like everything, the whole family and everything, and my daughter comes first. Everything else after that is just, it's just fun. It's
gravy. It's all gravy. Jeeper.
There.
I'm looking at you, Matt.
Yes.
Tell me something.
What do you want to know?
You know the fun. You know the funny thing.
You're thinking of something, Matt. You got
No, that's what I'm saying. You guys want to know the funny thing? I'm gonna share.
He's got a fuck you on his face right now.
No. I have. I really have. I really have a moment where you see how all of us here are just talking, but then we all have that dad voice, right? We all have that dad moment where like you sit down right now, right? We all have those dad moment. So this is a private conversation. I'm talking with Matt on the phone, and he's just going on calm voice of Matt. Yeah, they're in Alabama, and he's going on, and then all of a sudden he goes like out of the blue. If you don't sit down there, you keep licking your face, I am gonna put that cone on your head. I go, what? Who are you?
Yes.
And then in my right immediately in my head, I went, oh my God, he is a dog dad. He literally has a dog that is like his kid, and he just had this dad voice. Damn, you're scared the bejesus out of myself. I'm like, I'm not looking at my face. Why I didn't do anything wrong. Why are you raising your voice at me? And then I realized that even if personally people say, well, I have no kid or I have no this and that, you have this protective dad moment inside of you. That voice just sits somewhere. Well, when it come out, even the people that know you go, where the fuck did that come from? I was at Tim's house when Harrison was just viewing his way through there. I was like, Harrison, sit down. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Tim, that is all emotional here. Is I literally sat straight in my chair. I'm like, yes, Dad. I don't need it.
He's looking at you like, what'd you do wrong?
I'm like, what? Like, I'm looking at Harrison like, don't get both of us in trouble. You the only one doing this shit right now. So there's such a thing of that love that we have for the people we care about that translate, immediately into that dad voice. That there's no way, like you can't teach that to someone, right? Like
no.
It's not something that you go like, okay, when I'm a dad, this is what I'm gonna do. Like till today, like since that day I heard him say that, I started putting some bass in my voice when I'm talking to Matt. Like, yeah, what's up, man? because the way that dog stopped whatever he was doing right away, and Matt went back to, yeah, just like I was saying. I'm like, wait a minute. You're not gonna walk past that statement like you didn't do anything.
And you know the funny thing about that voice? That is the voice that some of my friends will actually have me come to their house and do to their kids so that they get back in order. So I'm like the guy that turns up and is like
uncle that straight shit up.
Oh yeah, done that a few times.
So tell us what gives you hope and keeps you going, even through the traumas and things tough times that we went through.
It's funny you bring up my dog, but I don't have kids. And I don't have kids, and I'm a pet parent, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Word, if that's the right word for it. But it's impressive to me. My dog's 16, and he gets up every day. And he's running around and he's enjoying life. And I think that's what I take from some of those situations. Yeah, you got discipline every now and again because he is fucking around and it's not working. Right?
Tony, you don't understand. Y'all had to be there.
Oh yeah,
that is worse than a dad. Like he is like one of those dad that you gotta be careful of. Like you see how your friend comes to your house, is like, well, I really like your dad, and you're looking at him like you don't know that motherfucker. You need to be here 24/7 to deal with this motherfucker right here. Like you like my dad because like, oh, he's quiet, he's very yeah. Wait till he shows you his dad face. You probably would never want to come back and visit again.
I will tell you, it's one of the best negotiation skills you can ever have in life. So no, honestly, like the fact that my dog can get up every day, enjoy himself, run around, it kind of gives you hope because it's like, well, so you can do it too. And I love the dogs. So that's it for me. If they can do it, why can't you? So
10 man, talk to me, brother.
Yo, man, it's Rebecca and Harrison, man. If it wasn't for them, there's no fucking way I'd keep going. It's waking up every day, and seeing that little dude, or coming home and seeing that little dude, or hanging out with him. That's the top of the top. Today was my only day off, and Rebecca left for a while to go, have some her time, which I'm so glad she did because she has not got to have a lot of that. So she's finally speaking up, saying, "Hey, I need to go do this shit." I said, "Yeah, go do your shit." And we spent a lot of time together, and it's just there was a couple times where I was like, "Boy, I'm about to put you in the ground." I'm about to put you in the ground. And then it flips, and he's like, "I love you, Daddy," and I'm like, "Damn it, boy!
God damn it!
Like,
Damn."
He already knows how to do you. I love it.
Yeah.
But this just reels back into everything that you all have said already. Is that I fucking hate my dad. I will just straight up say I fucking hate it. Like, I do not like my dad. I want nothing to do with him, and I don't want to be. He used to beat the shit out of me as a kid. And the breaking point where he stopped beating the shit out of me is when I beat the shit out of him and put him in the hospital. That's the only reason he stopped beating me. So, like, I don't hit Harrison. That's never gonna fucking happen. He gets put his ass gets put in timeout. That's how we handle shit. But like every fucking day, I'm like, I'm never gonna be my dad. I'm never gonna do things. And so breaking that cycle, that's the biggest thing.
That cycle, dude. Breaking that shit, because
that's the biggest thing that keeps me going. It's my son and it's Rebecca, but that mindset of going, I'm breaking that cycle. Nope, not doing it that way. Fuck no, not gonna do it that way. We're doing it this way. We're doing the way it should have been done.
That's truly what I live for. That's what I live for. I live for not being like the person that I truly don't have a connection to. I have an obligation to because it's my dad, but not a connection to. Obviously, we all agree when someone that you've seen, made, or care about for a long time is in your life, and I like to say that innocence, the innocence of those people, truly give you hope and reminds you that this life is not that fucked up as you see it. Because of the trauma and the past that you've had, a little bit of innocence kind of bring you that little light at the end of the tunnel that you look at, you go, you are so innocent. You are so, I'm protecting this. This is what I see my innocence through you, and I want to protect this as long as I can. And that is the hope light that I hold on to till the day you start snoring crack cocaine on strippers' ass. I'm here, right? That's really that. I have to keep it light because we are having a really emotional moment.
No, but that's literally a truth right there.
That is a truth.
I mean, that's a talk I have to have my son now when he turns 12. It's like, okay, so
you got to say.
It's not the birds and the bees. It's cocaine and strippers.
No cocaine off the strippers.
No cocaine and hookers.
What do you call it? What do you call it? Chris Rock say, keeping my baby off the pole, right? It's like parents are trying to get their kids to have degrees, and what he's like, I'm just trying to keep my baby off the pole. As long as my baby is off the pole, I've done my job as a parent. And that's really what it's down to. And it's that innocence that we protect that give us hope and reminds us that we are human. It's okay to hurt, it's okay to love, because their innocence still reminds you of your own humanity
Yeah.
and reminds you that the monster in the closet can stay in the closet because there is still innocence in the world. There's still that naivete that you can embrace and still feel more connected to your true self.
So
Guys,
I got a funny, real quick, a funny little story
go
about
ahead.
talking about like your crowning achievement as as a parent. So this was maybe our son was maybe 2 years old at the time, right? Actually, a little bit younger than that because he started walking at an early age. But anyway, the place that we lived at the time, as you can imagine, I'm a bartender, so every place we ever lived in, I had to have a full-fledged, almost working bar, right? So my wife and I are sitting on the couch, and we're watching my son. He's getting up, he's walking, and he's falling. He's getting up, he's walking, he's falling, right? And he gets up and he walks over to my bar. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I've kept most of the stuff out of reach, like the bar tools, whatever, that's fine. But then he walks over and then he opens up one of the cabinets down below. And that's where I kept like the other half of my bottles. And there was a part of me, we're sitting on the couch, there's a part of me where I was kind of got off the couch a little bit. And my wife said, no. She's like, no, push your hand, but see what happens. Okay, all right, fine, we'll see what happens. And this is a true to life, God honest story. He opens up the first shelf, and I had a bunch of my rail mats on there, right? Takes out the bar mats, puts them on the floor. I was like, okay, all right. So then he opens up the second shelf, pulls out a couple different styles of bitters, puts them on the mats that are on the floor. And at this point, I do one of these. I'm like, I'm gonna see where this takes us.
Yeah, exactly. TikTok.
So then he goes to the third shelf. I shit you not. He opens it up, pulls out a couple bottles, lays them down. And then I looked at my wife. My wife looked at me. I said, okay, our son's name is Caden. I said, Caden, now that you're done, what are you going to do? And I'll be goddamn if he did not put every single thing back on the shelf, close them, and went to go play. I looked at my wife right then and there. I said, you know what? I can die tomorrow. My job is done.
Yeah.
I did one of these. I was like, good night.
Mic drop.
We
Good
done.
night, Chicago. We done.
Yeah.
We done.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you.
done. Good night.
Exactly.
Thank you. And
Yeah.
truly, these moments that we sharing, these things, these stories are truly what keep us alive. And like I said, the reason why our the show doesn't have a whiskey connotation to it is really because the show, for me, the intent is that yes, we'll talk about whiskey, yes, we'll talk about the industry, and yes, we'll talk about things that affect it. But truly, who are the people, to the brains that are watching, to the people that are watching, who are the people that truly are behind these things that you see, right? We are human, we are people. Yes, for you guys, we may just be a number or an Instagram like or whatnot, but we call this show Monday Sucks because I tell people all the time the misconception of the industry is that we all are gun ho and all the same because we like whiskey. And I tell people that is very wrong. We all are very different. It just so happened that we share a common interest together, which just so happened to be spirits that we enjoy together. So either is a mixologist, an architect, an engineer, an insurance agent like me, military, ex-vet, computer hacker, whatever the fuck you are, stripper on a pole, gigolo, whatever you do, contract killer, I don't care. It just so happened that we all share one interest together. And golfers have the same thing, bowlers have the same thing, and it's just something that we share together. So that's a reminder I like to bring in the community all the time. We are very different. We just share a common interest together. So this community or this show was built on the love of people and who they are, and imperfectly and perfectly as they are, with the love of spirit in mind. That's the one thing I want to hone in, right? And this month being Mental Health Awareness Month, guys, if you're watching now, if you're watching the recast, that person that you so call your friend because you guys connected on the internet, or you guys connected because of you share whiskey, or they send you a bottle, or they did this. If you have their number, send them send them a message. How are you really doing? How you doing? Just checking in. A check-in is important. Most people think I'll go, hey dude, I like your post. Or I share your post, so we good. Check in. What's up, man? How are you doing?
Dude, that's exact, Jack, because there was a couple days and you're like, hey, bud, haven't heard from you in a few days. What's going on? I'm like, fuck. I'm so glad to hear from somebody outside of the house. Shit's
Correct.
crazy. It's like, thank you.
Yeah.
It just so happened that we share a common interest, but life really doesn't stop at whiskey. Life really, if you ask somebody like Tony, there's a reason why Tony is not going around and just giving people a bottle of Angel Envy and just telling people, yeah, you're good. You tried Angel Envy. He tried to create an experience where I know last month you guys had a whole derby team where you brought bartenders in, bring people together, and try. There's not because all those people just love Angel Envy. It's because really they love people and wanted to be in that environment. It just so happened that Angel Envy, this could have been done by any brand out there as long as you're bringing people together. So my last question before we walk in the whole 2 hours of your life that I took away from you to check in with all of y'all is, now that we know what you're hopeful for and we know how hard it is in your life, the last question that I always look for and that I ask, because this obviously we love people and we love whiskey, is what is what is that one thing in the community that when you wake up you look forward to? What is that one thing in the community that when you wake up you look forward to? I'm gonna start with Steve. What is that one thing in the community? You're the newest to the community, so you're the one I'm gonna ask. What is that one thing in the community that when you wake up you're like, I'm looking forward to checking out this person or doing this thing or posting it? What's the one thing you look forward to?
Lately, the thing that I really like is when some new person finds some stuff that I just totally gave up on, but they're freaking excited about it because I used to be excited about it back in the day.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that they're starting that journey, dude. They're starting where I was years ago. And so they're like, oh my God, this is so good. I'm like,
Steve, you don't have to talk shit about Blantons. I mean, people.
dude, I was gonna use that too. I was just saying, I was gonna be like, yo, check out that Blanton. But it's like, it's really cool to see these new guys that are coming into this, and they're just trying to figure their path, and they're coming to guys like us. They're like, hey, what do you like? I'm like, try this, try that, because that's how I got here. If it wasn't for some of my friends who weren't willing to tell me, hey, I know you don't like Bunnahaven. Quit being a puss. You're going to drink this until you like it. And then at the end of the night, I'm like, damn.
I like it.
Damn, hold on, let me throw it out there. Dang, man, that was pretty good. Can I get some more of that? And it was Bunnahaven too. That Crouch Mona that we open up, and that stuff is good.
That shit is
good.
That shit is
Steve's
better.
getting warmed up now.
Oh,
That shit is better than a government check. I'll tell you right now.
Really, they're like, for your stimulus check, you're going to get 4 bottles of Bunnahaven. Jack, get over here right now.
Let's go.
You're probably in the wrong spot.
Oh,
Fuck.
No, it's just cool to see new guys coming up, and they're just, I hate to say it, they're raw. They're just like, oh, I want to do this. And it's cool when they come to you and they're like, hey, you're what that one guy say? You're like the father figure that we see here in whiskey in Nebraska because of what you do and what you post. What do you think? And I'm like, well, like you always say, well, what's your palate? Where all you right there, where's your palate at? Jack, you know the answer to this one. Where's your palate? It's on the roof of your mouth. I learned that from you. So, but just walking these guys through that, it's cool to see that when they're every day.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Matt.
You know what I love is that the community doesn't care about race, doesn't care
Mm.
your background.
Mm.
It
Dude.
does not
Yo,
care.
dude.
It's encompassing to everybody. And this is what I really like. Everybody can have a home here. You make the home the way you want it to be. And I
Mm.
love that fact that if you want to put something out there, there should be no judgment zone. Like it's sort of the advert on TV. There's no judgment here, right? And I think we've got to embrace that a little bit more. You know, there's still a little bit out there, but you know, it doesn't matter color, background, creed, who you are, male, female, transgender, LGBT. Everybody is welcome. And I love the fact that I can open up that Instagram every day and see someone that wants to share their passion in their way.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? That they're putting themselves out there because they decided that's what they want the world to see about them. And actually, in some cases, people are putting that call out because they're looking for some help or they're looking for someone to talk to or just bullshit with for 5 or 10 minutes.
Mm.
Mhm.
And honestly, that person doesn't have to be in the United States of America. They can be
Mhm.
Oh no,
anywhere in
no,
the
no.
world. And the fact that we can sit here on the internet and go, dude, I got some great advice for you. Or have you tried this? Or hey, you know what? I know someone you can go talk to. Or hey, have you tried this? And yeah, there's always, you know, some ups and downs in that. But you know, that's for me. It's like I love opening it up because it's like, oh shit, I didn't know about that. And in fact, I've learned a lot. That's the other thing for me is I'm still learning. So, you know,
Dude, we all are.
I opened up a post
Yeah,
like
all
2 days
the time.
ago, and I'm like, damn, I did not know that,
Mhm.
and it's great. I love it. So that's it.
Tony, hit me.
Well, I mean,
You're the OG.
I was going to kind of start with that, but damn it, Matt, you took the words right out of my mouth, man. No, so okay, so in all honesty, what I'm enjoying now is, given the events of the last 14 months, and before that, I honestly am really enjoying a couple of different things. To piggyback on what Matt said is the fact that the community itself, hospitality, whiskey, beverage community, like we're breaking down those preconceived notions of, well, who should be drinking this, who should be drinking that, who should be appreciating this, right? And we're not judging. I'm appreciating that more and more and more. Okay, that right there is what that gives me chills. The next thing that I'm honestly enjoying is because I think the last 14 months and beyond, but specifically the last 14 months, we're starting to see people who are being more emboldened to share their passion, to share their drive, and to do the good with discipline. What I mean by that is it takes a certain amount of discipline. And Jack and Tim, we've talked about this on separate occasions before, where it takes a certain amount of discipline for you to know and believe that you can see the good in folks. Don't always have to expect it, but if you keep traveling along that path, more things are going to happen for you and give you the opportunity to help others along the way, as opposed to you to trying to continue to just bend and weave and go with the flow of things, right? I think what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing more people that are willing to just be better, just be better to themselves, be better to people, right? That's not always. This is not a kumbaya moment. This is a moment of, you know what, we are humans, we are people. There are interests, there are common interests, there are common differences, but there is a meeting ground where we can learn from one each other. And I think that right there for me is what really is driving me to really kind of just, like you said earlier, Jack, like we all have different vehicles. Like I, use those vehicles to uplift, to educate, but then also for us to learn. That's how we continue to grow. If you ever get to a moment in your life where you stop learning and you stop growing, and that's just the hard, honest truth. It doesn't have to be whiskey. It's just anything. You stop learning, you stop growing. And I really do enjoy now meeting more people who are more comfortable in their skin, but also modest enough to learn and maybe continue to grow. Honestly.
Absolutely.
Like Tony,
Yep.
I'll say something to you, brother, because you didn't know me from a hole in the freaking wall, and I sent you a message. And what was the coolest thing was you're an epitaph to what we're discussing here, because I asked you, hey, an opinion on something, and could you help me with something? And not was one hesitation. Hey, I'm going to make a phone call and let me see if I can get you to someone. You didn't know me from a hole in the wall at all. And I think that embraces what everybody should do here is give someone a chance and find out who they are, because you might be quite surprised.
Yeah. I think these last 2 hours are a perfect example of, you're gonna go, everyone's gonna go through shit. Everyone's gonna go through this moment, but just don't be afraid to reach out. Don't be afraid. Try not to be afraid. Or for us, we're in positions where we can now understand those kind of things. Like if someone ever crosses your mind, you have a way to contact them. Don't think twice. Send a message. Hey, how's it going? Just checking in. Like whatever. Just do it. And I think it's those moments. And Matt, I remember that too. And I was like, whatever. I was like, I don't know this guy, but he seems really cool. Like whatever. We all, we're hopping on Monday Sucks and we're sharing banter back and forth. And sometimes the moves you make in life are a leap of faith.
I was like, Steve, you and I just randomly started chatting, and I think it was a poor joke about something one day that we both laughed at, and we're like, hey, we should talk sometime. As simple as that, I think it was my bad dad joke, actually, at that point in time. So,
hey, I've got the best bad dad joke. So there, and you know it. Tim.
No. Calm down, Steve.
Jack, come on, just one.
Calm down, Steve.
Wait. We're doing dad jokes. I'm all in.
Look at this. You guys. Okay, let's finish, and everybody get one dad joke.
Okay,
everybody will get one. Tim.
Tim,
tell us what you. No. What is he looking for? He didn't even say what he looked forward to. What are you looking forward to in the industry?
Hold on. This is for all the Instagrams that want to take a screenshot. So here we go. We're gonna do this really quick.
Oh my god!
Oh my god! Christmas card, dude. Seriously.
Because he ain't never gonna see me kiss another bottle plants ever again. There you go. Take your screenshots and post them everywhere. Make them stickers. Do whatever you want.
Even stop so they could get a good shot.
Yes, I did. You know what? I gotta touch on what Matt and what Tony. We're all on the same fucking page about this. But the thing that I love about this community the most, and I would say probably the reason that this show still exists is because the color of this and who we are and what we think and what we feel and what we believe in does not fucking matter. It's just about being a fucking human and hanging out and connecting. That's all this is about. And the things that I look forward to the most are waking up and seeing who I get to connect with that day. Sometimes it's nobody, and sometimes it's 20. It's just I love when I get a random message from somebody, or somebody's asking me a random question, or somebody wants to collaborate on something. I love it, man. It's if you're bold enough to take that leap and ask a question and whatever, I'm about it. Let's do it. Because Jack and I and Monday Sucks wouldn't exist if I didn't make that leap and say, hey man, because I was scared as shit messaging him, right? Like, I'm a white tattooed dude and he is black. I mean, he's fucking black, right?
No shit. We'll give it away.
Hey, and I remember typing the fucking message out on my phone, and I was like, there's no fucking way in life that this guy's going to respond back to me, because there's no reason he should. Face value, there's no reason that Jack and I should exist on the platform that we are. If you're just judging shit by what it is, right?
Seriously,
there's no reason.
I'm right there with you, because when people see Jack and I walk down the street or walk anywhere, they're like, how the fuck did that combination get together? And it's like, your mom.
But that's the
let's tell
thing
you a
is like
story.
this group, this room, this is the
Yeah.
face of what this industry is.
Mhm.
And I will scream that shit from every fucking rooftop until it's the normal. So there it is. There's my soapbox. I'm stepping off.
Okay.
Jack, what's good?
I live to educate. And
Oh,
I
fuck yeah,
cannot
dude.
wait to share what I've learned with people. And sometimes I have to kind of wait to even share because I can wake up some days and I remember I'm like, well, most people don't know, don't know this. Hell, I remember the first year I was in whiskey. I didn't know this. Let me post about this. Then I want to post about this. So some days I almost have to retain myself and make notes and wait and go, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to put this on tomorrow. But I truly live to educate because I apply the same rule to the whiskey community that I apply in my life. If I can help one person not make the mistake that I've already made, and then one more step to heaven. That's where I see it. If I can help one person to not make the mistake or one mistake that I've already made, I've done my job. So every day that I wake up, I try to tell myself, my posts have never been about, if you go about 90% of my posts, there's always a part of it that is the educational part of it. What is it about this bottle that makes it special? What is it about this note that makes it special? What is it about this thing? Because truly, I use the word demystify. I want the mystifying people is what brands do. It's like, oh, there's a hype around it. There is a genie in that bottle or whatnot. And my goal is always let's educate. Educate. I did not go and spend all the money and spend all the hours of studying to have my WSET certification because I need it. I really wanted it to actually have something legit that I can stand behind and go, hey, if you say I don't know what I'm talking about, here is the credential that says I know what I'm talking about.
You took the time and effort to
correct. And I look forward to waking up and educating people. Either it's on single malt, either it's on scotch, either it's whatever it is that it is. I would just want people to actually say, I learned some shit from Hood somebody. That's
dude, all. Your Scotch 101 you pulled off that one day just out of
that was phenomenal.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's gonna be one of my that's the one always. It's like, yo, Jack.
You guys are the reason why I thought about the idea to actually make Scotch school. That you guys are the reason why, because for me it was just common knowledge. But yet now that I actually put it out there and a lot of people, the response was so big, like, dude, I didn't know this. So what I did is I actually did a bubble of experimentation. Mm-hmm. I took women and men that did not know anything about Scotch, and I did Scotch school, to giving them the terroir, giving them the story, and having them try it. And by the end of the class, believe it or not, women love the PDS, grindy barrel proof whiskeys. Most men then bitched out, and half of them are like, you know what? I think I'm a Scotch guy. And I'm like, what? I thought we started this whole class with we all hate single malt, we are bourbon. So that's always what happened to me. And my goal is to take this thing and spread it all around the US, spread it everywhere that I go, educate as many people, and that is my joy. Now, to close the show, everybody get one dad joke. I got one.
It's bad.
I got one. Everybody get one dad joke.
Okay.
Remember, we don't want to be canceled after this show. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. If we cancel after this show, I'm hunting all of you after you're dead. I'm hunting all of you guys.
If I'm in the area. Careful, he's the hunter. Steve's the hunter.
So we are going to start with Steve because he had this bad dad joke.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
Let's go with Steve. Steve, that's how you're closing the show. After you're done, give your Instagram handle or where people can find you. So they can cancel you. Yeah, they can cancel you and not us. So give your joke and then tell the people where they can find you.
Oh, well, it's not just so much the joke; it's the time that I told the joke. Because when my dad passed on this past year, and we were doing other funeral arrangements, I was like, "Hey guys, you know what the difference is between a garbanzo bean and a chickpea?" Dad never had a garbanzo bean on his face.
Oh,
Dude, I told this at the funeral arrangement.
Oh my
said
God.
this, right?
sir, tell the people where they can find you, because this is not about me.
And they can say
Where can the people
about
find
your
you?
dad joke.
Where can the
Whiskey
people
River
find you?
66
I literally have to go and change this segment. No kids allowed on this show.
Oh fuck!
Whiskey
What?
River 66, baby.
Congratulations.
Whiskey River 66 on Instagram. Steve
works with you
Nelson
guys
on.
Tony, your face is red.
That one.
All right.
Was,
All right. I'm gonna go straight to Tony because he said he's into dad jokes. So let's go for it.
all right. So, how do you follow Will Smith in the snow?
I don't know.
You follow the Fresh Prince.
Oh, okay.
Oh shit!
Okay.
I'm gonna pour myself another one. I'm gonna keep this going.
You are British. You guys are not funny. But let's check with
literally, it's the defining moment of being British. You are not fucking unless you're Ricky Gervais and a few others.
Yeah, but British people are not funny. You guys are sarcastic, but not funny. Like I'm telling you, there's such a thing as dry humor, and that's British humor. Like I have to hype myself to get into British humor.
There's one really funny British guy. It's called Peter Kay. You should check him out. But generally, it's up here where we think we're funny, but what comes out of here, not so much.
So, do you have something, Matt?
Yeah, but it's not funny.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Okay. Let's give it a try.
Why is it a bad idea to iron a 4-leaf clover? Because you shouldn't press your luck.
Oh, now before you go, Tim, let me tell you exactly.
Words of wisdom.
No, let me tell you exactly what a British guy thought was the funniest joke. He would tell me when I lived in Canada. We're sitting around. He go, "Hey mate," I go, "What's up, mate?" He goes, "I got this funny ass joke for you. You're gonna love it," because I always say British people are not funny. He goes, "What do you call a deer with no penis?" I go, "What?" It's like, no. He said, "What do you call a deer with no eye?" I go, "I don't know." He go, "No eye deer." I'm like, "What?" And I go, what do you, and then he goes, I look at him, I go, "What?" And he goes, "Oh, even better. What do you call a deer with no eye and no penis?" I go,
No fucking.
"Oh, I don't know. No fucking idea." You see, only the British guy got this. Literally, only the British. And I'm telling you, the other British guy was there just having a big old time. And then he's like, "What do you call a deer standing in a bush with no eye and no penis?" And I go, "What?" He go, "Still no fucking idea." I go, "Brits, you are not funny."
And someone, by the way, did realize that I did an Irish joke as a British person. So props to that person right there.
You see? So Tim, tell us yours before I finish my. No, actually, Tony, you didn't tell people where they can find you, but it's TB Whiskey, right?
Yeah, it's. I keep it simple. It's on IG. It's at TB Whiskey.
TB Whiskey.
Yeah,
You can
there it
find
is.
Tony there. Yeah, Jeepers. You can find Matt at Bourbon Jeepers. It's Bourbon Jeeper, not the Bourbon Jeeper, but Bourbon Jeeper on IG. You can find Matt there. Don't worry, he's very boring. Go check him out.
Yeah, very.
he's very boring as a British man that he is. He's very boring.
Yes. Very.
But, Tim, tell us something. Tell us something before we close the show. Give us a good one.
Oh, he's on mute.
Sir, you mute. You're on mute. You're on mute, sir.
There we go. We're back. My headphones just died, so I hope y'all can hear me all right.
We can hear you perfectly.
Yes.
Okay,
Right.
cool. So I don't have any good dad jokes, but I have a good dad joke moment. So I'll lay it on you, okay?
Okay.
I was at the store, all right, and somebody came up to me with a bottle of Absolute grapefruit vodka.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, "Is this a good vodka? Should I buy it?" I said, "Absolutely."
Oh.
And they kept fucking going. I was like, "God damn it! I gave you gold, and you get on my face."
Oh my God.
Yep.
You know what? We need to close this show with some sanity. So I'm gonna give you guys a good dad joke. Matter of fact, I'm gonna give you
Bring it.
two. I'm actually gonna give you two good dad jokes that you can use with your kid. You know what? Better yet, three, because all your jokes sucks.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start.
Oh,
We're gonna start. No,
bread, man.
let me see, Matt. No. Steve, your joke was so inappropriate. We're gonna be canceled.
Edit it out.
Look, the first joke is for dad that are golfers. Why did the golfer have two pants on?
Why?
Because he got a hole in one. That was good.
My joke, I think.
Now the second one is for dads that love to watch soap opera or watch theater. Why do you tell actors to break a leg?
Why?
Why?
Because every scene have a cast.
Fuck out of here.
Oh,
You got one more.
Okay.
That'll be good.
This one is the best. Why are sharks potheads?
Why?
Because they're always swimming in the river.
Okay. You might have redeemed yourself with that one.
Yeah, the shark are always in the reefer. But better yet, the best one of all that my daughter told me when she was 6 that I hold on to forever is, what do you call a bear with no teeth?
What?
A gummy bear.
oh. Well, I got a question for you, Jack. And
Yeah.
For men, how many knees do you have?
2.
No, we have 5. I learned this from a second grader, dude.
What?
Second grader.
Why do we have 5 fucking knees?
Right knee, left knee,
No.
2 kidneys, and a weenie. That's 5. I was
You
like,
know what?
oh,
You know what?
yes.
Best
That's
time to stop the show
Yeah.
before we go way too far. You guys these are emotional
That's
men.
classic. I didn't even know that.
We got $5 for that joke. That was
And you know what? It's almost like there needs to be an afterglow of
We
this
got-
show at some point.
Seriously, I was
we
like,
got $5 for that joke. That was the best one yet. Somebody
all just
said, you
made
know what? we all made $1 out of this show, guys. Thank you so much, Joshua. That was thank you
Props.
so much for giving us all $1.
sorry.
Because Lord knows
Oh
we're
my
gonna need
God.
therapy after this show.
You better be thinking about that. And somebody's like, my knee. And you'll be like, well, which one do we got? That's why when Andrew broke his knee, I was like, "Which one you talking about?"
Watch what? You know what? I can't do this. I can't do this. I cannot do this.
I actually
Guys,
just took that joke, put it in my back pocket. I can't wait. I
you
can't wait.
can't wait to
Gonna
can't
roll
wait to
that
use
one
it.
out.
I'm saving that one for
Wow.
All
Guys, I cannot thank you all enough for actually coming on the show. This was an incredible show. We didn't, I sometimes I just love it when we don't spend our time just harping about a specific brand or anything, showing the people that yes, we are in the whiskey community, but after all, we are still human. To all the people that are out here doing it and still posting every day, remember, May is Mental Awareness Month. Check on your friend, check on your people. It doesn't hurt to send a hello, or it doesn't hurt to just say, "How are you doing?" How are you doing goes a really long way.
Yeah.
How are you feeling goes a really long way. Take your time, take a moment tomorrow, this week, before the end of this month, to check on a friend or someone you thought about and say, "Hey, I'll call you later, or I will check on them later," just to send them, "How you doing, my man?" It's gonna go a very long way. If you were here and you didn't remember who were talking to you, we have Matt, aka the Bourbon Jeeper. We got Steve, Whiskey River 66. We have Tony, TB Whiskey. And if you look on the right, you have our man, Single Barrel Snub, aka TVR, which is always here every Monday. And if you don't know who I am, shame on you. I'm the Hood Sommelier, and I'm always here every Monday and always ready to learn you some shit. So make sure. And if you're here today, remember, I just turned on our membership on the channel. You can now become a member of the channel. Go into the membership for $2.99, $3.99, or $9.99. You can be the lookout, the plug, or the OG of the channel and support us. It does take a lot of time, energy, and money to actually put on a show every Monday. If you're here, you're a member, you're supporting us, we appreciate it. And if you have time and just are in the store looking for a bottle and don't know where to go, check out the Truth is Barrel Proof podcast. We out here. We're just telling you how we're tasting live, telling you exactly how we feel about a bottle to help you make better decisions. Guys, we'll see you next Monday. I don't know what that Monday is going to be. It may really suck or suck just a little, but we don't know. Guys, thank you so much for coming. We appreciate you guys.
You're
Thanks,
welcome.
Jack.
And
Thank you,
3,
guys.
Thank you.
2,
Thank you both.
1.
Thank you all.